We need to get that title back for the normal people, man. This game to have the belt, man.
In a surprising development leading up to UFC 319, current featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski has shown support for Khabib Nurmagomedov's advice to Khamzat Chimaev. Instead of relying on his trademark wrestling-heavy approach, Khabib suggested Chimaev should focus more on his boxing skills for the upcoming title clash against Du Plessis, and Volkanovski agrees.
But I'm going to tell you how good Chimaev is. I don't think people know he's a good grappler and be like, oh, hey, he's cool. But when it comes to MMA, grappling, wrestling, I could say he would probably be, if you had one round to prove yourself, Chimaev, hands down, I've got Chimaev.
Volkanovski, who's known for his fast pace and adaptability inside the cage, said he understands why Khabib would give that kind of advice. In his view, if Chimaev relies too heavily on wrestling across 5 rounds, he risks wearing himself out if the takedowns don't go as planned. A more strike-focused strategy could help Chimaev manage his stamina better and reduce the chance of gassing out. Volkanovski pointed out that he's dealt with opponents of many different styles throughout his career, so he sees the sense in Khabib's suggestion. If Chimaev can keep his energy in check, he'll give himself a much better chance of lasting all 5 rounds. Something that could be vital in what many expect to be a grueling championship fight.
It's calculated. He'll throw out punches out of position, but when he chooses to do that, was when in a position where his opponent couldn't fire. You get little things like that. Or he'll chain, he'll kick and then this weird punch will come afterward. People are like, oh, what kind of punch was that? It was to split the timing, change the target. While you're expecting him to go there, base, then fire, he's already put a little awkward 2 and then you're on the back foot. Now he can chase you down, get a takedown or get an extra punch on you. Little things like that. It's calculated. Is a lot of that stuff going to be effective with Chimaev? Maybe not. I think the leg kicks, later rounds, that's all that stuff's going to be effective because he's going to be able to let his hands go a little bit more later. I think you're going to see a lot of kicks, safe kicks that, won't be too easy to get caught. You might see a bit of, will you see pressure? Maybe, but you'll see a lot of maybe Dricus turning him. Maybe a little bit of pressure, forcing the fight, showing Chimaev he's not scared of him and making him fight, making him knowing that he's going to get big reactions, making them big reactions happen so he can get that gas tank. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see.
While Khabib's suggestion clearly carries a lot of tactical weight, Volkanovski highlighted another key factor going into this matchup, the unpredictability of Du Plessis. With UFC 319 fast approaching, Volkanovski has voiced his backing for the underdog, believing this could turn into one of the year's most thrilling middleweight title fights. Du Plessis, with his unorthodox and often surprising approach inside the cage, has been making serious waves in the UFC. And despite Chimaev's dangerous reputation, Volkanovski feels the South African contender has what it takes to pull off the upset.
Dricus $2.65, Chimaev $1.46. Alright, so I am going with Dricus. You guys are going to see the first round, maybe even the second. And if you did go with my picks, remember, gamble responsibly. You're going to be like, what's he doing? I went with Volk. There's a good chance Chimaev makes it look easy early. Remember that wild storm that Dricus needs to weather. That's no joke. So it might look like that. Or do we see Dricus already giving problems? If you do, we know we're gonna see bigger problems later on. Or do we see Chimaev change it? It's fine for a title, 5-round against a tough guy like Dricus. Is he more calculated? Can he be more calculated for 25 minutes? Do we see that Chimaev? I've never seen it, and I don't think I ever will see it. I think he's just a powerhouse, and he's so good at it, he's going to back himself, and that's why he will be dangerous early. Can he get the finish early? Maybe. He could get the finish. I think his best bet is getting that finish early, because he will get him down. He might even be able to get him in some chokes. Dricus might be strong enough to get him in positions that he's safe enough to survive and not let, while he's getting like dasses or anacondas and Chimaev's trying to get leg grips to just keep him closer so he can get an even bigger grip to jam his hips in.
Of course, not everyone agrees that Chimaev will be easy to overcome. His rapid rise through the ranks has seen him dominate nearly everyone in his path, including a statement-making first-round submission over former champion Robert Whittaker Michael Venom Page, who is also set to compete at UFC 319. Urge fans not to underestimate Chimaev's ability to go deeper into a fight than people might expect. He pointed to Chimaev's performance against Whittaker, where the usually aggressive powerhouse looked noticeably more composed. Instead of rushing forward with a chaotic pace, Chimaev showed patience, carefully timing his takedowns and waiting for the right openings.
Well, interestingly, when he fought Whittaker, because again, he has been a bit, I call him like a Crash Bandicoot, like he goes in there and he's going crazy immediately. But it was the first time, although it didn't last too long, it was the first time I saw him a little bit more composed, and not just try to go crazy immediately. He took his time, even to find the takedown. He was kind of a bit more like chilled and slowly worked his way to the takedown, where normally he just comes out and just dives at you. And again, obviously, it's hard for anybody to keep such a high pace. If he is that same person, I reckon he can go the distance. And everyone's saying that if he doesn't take him out in the first, I reckon he can genuinely, fights like that, he can go the whole 5 rounds and it still be a somewhat even fight, even when he starts to get a little bit more tired.
Even so, Page acknowledged that Du Plessis is far from an easy matchup for Chimaev, especially if the fight goes the full distance. Du Plessis has shown incredible toughness throughout his career, often finding ways to win even without the most textbook or polished style. His ability to remain dangerous deep into fights has earned him a lot of respect inside the UFC. Page admitted that if Du Plessis can survive the early pressure, he has a real shot at walking away with the victory. Still, for now, Page is leaning toward Chimaev as his pick to win. With a laugh, he added that if Du Plessis manages to shock the world again, he'll never bet against the South African contender in the future.
But yeah, you can see Du Plessis is the guy that he beats you in the final laps and the final rounds of fights. He's a hard person to do anything with. He seems very awkward. He takes shots well. It's hard to keep him on the floor. He takes you down. He's a bit scrappy, but he just stays in it. He's got the energy to still be strong in his punches and kicks, as well as his grappling from round 1 to round 5. So yeah, it's best for him to try and get him out early, but that's a difficult ask. So I actually feel like he should just compose himself and try to win rounds first, and then look to see if he can finish him later.
Do you think Khamzat beats him?
I think Khamzat has the ability to beat him, but I literally keep saying this. I think after this fight, I'm never betting against Du Plessis again, because I keep doing it, but this guy keeps figuring out a way to win, and I just don't get his style. Just to me, just seems so messy. But you have to respect him, because regardless of what he looks like, he knows how to win. So if this is the last time, I'm gonna go with Khamzat, but if he wins this fight, yeah, never again. If anybody asks me, I'm saying Du Plessis beats everybody.
On the other side, Du Plessis head coach Morn Visser has been very clear about their game plan. There will be no backing down from Chimaev's wrestling. Instead, he says they plan to meet it head-on. That bold statement highlights the team's confidence in Du Plessis' ability to handle the grappling pressure that has carried Chimaev to so many victories. Visser also didn't shy away from criticizing Chimaev's striking, arguing that the Chechen star's stand-up game isn't nearly as threatening as his wrestling. According to him, the key is not avoiding the takedown battle, but matching Chimaev in that department while taking advantage of what they see as gaps in his striking arsenal.
Khamzat doesn't know what it is when people want to wrestle him. He's only facing guys who's trying to get away from his wrestling. We don't want to try to get away from his wrestling. We want to keep him up in his game. You can't think that you're going to beat my guy coming with one thing, and that's wrestling. That guy's one-dimensional. Have you seen his stand-up? I won't even give him a pro license for his stand-up. He doesn't present any problem for us. We are the problem.
Still, not everyone is convinced that Du Plessis has the edge. Many believe Chimaev's raw strength and wrestling dominance could be overwhelming. Former middleweight champion Chris Weidman weighed in on the matchup, voicing concerns about whether Chimaev can maintain his pace over 5 full rounds. Weidman acknowledged Chimaev's reputation as a finisher, but warned that cardio could become a deciding factor if he doesn't put Du Plessis away early. In his words, Chimaev is the boogeyman for a reason, but if the fight drags on, Du Plessis' unpredictable style and relentless pressure could give him the upper hand. According to Weidman, Chimaev likely needs to close the show within the first 2 rounds, because trying to outlast Du Plessis in a 5-round war might be a mistake, especially since Chimaev hasn't yet proven himself in those late championship rounds. Adding to the drama, French contender Nassourdine Imavov has been tapped as the backup fighter, ready to step in if either Du Plessis or Chimaev is unable to make it to fight night.
I think the same way, but I think, in my mind, Khamzat will finish the fight in the 2 first rounds. That's what I have in my mind. But of course, I understand people that think that the longer it goes, the more it can go in the favor of DDP because of his cardio, but also his way of fighting that is very weird, very strange,
With all the excitement building around UFC 319, another fighter making waves in the middleweight division is Anthony Hernandez. After securing his 8th straight victory in dominant fashion against Roman Dolidze, Hernandez shared that the UFC has invited him to attend the event, possibly to keep tabs on the outcome of the Du Plessis vs. Chimaev title clash. Thanks to his impressive streak and consistent performances, Hernandez is quickly becoming a name fans and analysts are keeping a close eye on for the future.
Who do you think wins that fight, by the way?
I think DDP is going to surprise the world, man. He's a big motherfucker. He's awkward. He comes forward. He doesn't get tired. Khamzat gets tired with small guys that were 155ers, you know what I mean? That went up to 170. So I'm still not really sold on him. I know he's good. I know he can beat up Robert Whittaker. But like I said, the old is very one-dimensional. They only have one tool. If you can get them to the floor, it usually seems that they have a bad night. And that's just the honest truth of how I've seen it play out.
Kamaru Usman, who's well aware of the pressure and pace Chimaev can bring, believes Du Plessis' toughness could be the deciding factor in this matchup. Usman pointed out that Chimaev's ability to keep up his relentless style across 5 rounds is still unproven. If Chimaev starts to fade, even just a little, Du Plessis, renowned for his grit and ability to keep fighting through tough situations, might seize the momentum and swing the fight in his favor. Usman's perspective adds another layer of intrigue, as Chimaev has yet to face someone like Du Plessis, who tends to thrive in the later rounds and embraces adversity.
Khamzat Chimaev on your back in round 1 is not easy to get off. And then he was able to sink that in. And that goes to show how strong of the squeeze this freaking dude had.
Could he pull that same style against Dricus Du Plessis? Because I will say this.
Another voice casting doubt on Chimaev's chances is Johnny Eblen, the reigning Bellator middleweight champion. After analyzing Chimaev's previous performances, Eblen believes Du Plessis' experience in grueling, drawn-out fights could give him the advantage. He pointed to Chimaev's razor-close battles with Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, where both fighters managed to push him to the limit and expose certain vulnerabilities in his game. According to Eblen, Du Plessis has the kind of toughness and persistence to grind out wins and absorb punishment, qualities that could pose a real problem for Chimaev if he's unable to secure an early finish or sustain his usual frantic pace. In Eblen's eyes, Du Plessis is exactly the type of fighter who can exploit those weaknesses, particularly if the fight drags into the later championship rounds.
Everyone thinks of him like the boogeyman, like a guy to avoid.
He's not, though. He's a guy. He's just a human. Yeah, he's just a human. Like, Gilbert made him look human. Usman made him look human. I think DDP is going to make him look human, Plus, DDP is like a big physical guy. I don't think Khamzat's going to just fucking manhandle him, And also, his cardio is a little questionable. I don't think DDP's cardio is as questionable, He gets tired, but, he still has a lot of output. Like watching Chimaev with Usman, 3rd round, he was looking
and even Gilbert,
tired.
Yeah.
And Gilbert. He fought Gilbert like an idiot, though. He fought Gilbert pretty dumb. Like he was like kind of letting him up, like trying to be exciting, I think.
Belal Muhammad also weighed in on the highly anticipated title fight, with much of his focus on Chimaev's cardio. While acknowledging Chimaev's world-class wrestling and grappling, Muhammad suggested that keeping the fight standing and relying more on technical striking could actually give him the upper hand against Du Plessis. He also noted that many people underestimate Chimaev's endurance. According to Muhammad, if the Chechen contender manages his pace smartly, he has the tools to outlast Du Plessis in a drawn-out battle. His take echoes the advice of Khabib Nurmagomedov, with both believing that Chimaev's blend of striking and grappling could be the key to victory.